One of the sort of distinctive features of anthropology at Goldsmiths, I think, is the opportunity that students also develop and take up of doing research in London, and recognising what an incredible resource London is for doing research, but also recognising the role that a city like London plays for challenging some of the concepts that we bring to our research. And I think it's that sort of double relationship with London and anthropology that's so interesting, that we try to sort of look at within the Goldsmiths department. Right from the very beginning of the course, we're encouraging students to think through London. London poses challenges to anthropology, in the sense that anthropologists traditionally worked in small-scale societies where they could kind of know, they could have some feeling of knowing the borders, the contours of what they're working with. And of course, obviously, with an enormous city like London, the flow of people through it and objects, it's absolutely impossible to ever know the city. There are different ways through which people engage with the city, and this, of course, from our department point of view, is wonderful, because there's an endless plethora of possibilities of things that people can and might study within London.
So within that, she argues that the donor in itself.
So we have, right from the first year, we have a course which takes students out and about within London, where they explore particular themes. It may be globalisation, it may be issues to do with markets, it may be issues to do with poverty or inequality, but they will explore those within particular spaces within the city, and they will create their own diaries and portfolios which are actually looking at, developing an anthropological eye or an ethnographic eye towards London.
My name's Chris Wright, and I teach the Anthropology of London course, which is the first year undergraduate course. We get a lot of our students who are new to London, so partly it's a way of making them think about their environment, to think about the surrounding they're in and the particularities of being in London. So it's using London as a particular kind of resource for doing bits of fieldwork, little bits of fieldwork exercises, but also it brings out a lot of the general themes about anthropology that you look at in your first year.
My name is Teresa. I just finished my undergraduate degree at Goldsmiths in Anthropology and Media last year, and I did my research for my dissertation at this estate, which is Haggerston Western Kingsland Estate, about the fact that it's being demolished, and trying to make sense of that transition, what it means to the residents, what possibilities and consequences it might have. Doing that, I followed 6 different residents from the estate over a period of time. Interviewed them in their flat. Some of them were still living in the old estate. Some of them had been temporarily reallocated to other buildings, and it was kind of trying to get a sense of different ideas of home and what this move means to people, and how that affects how people see themselves and the people they share the place with. So doing research in London has been interesting for me, because I'm particularly intrigued by the changes that happen both in the physical and social landscapes. So how these physical aspects of an urban landscape affect how people think about where they live. And people here had been waiting for something to happen to these buildings for about 30 years, and had been promised changes and renovations and all these things, and nothing ever happened.
My name is Katie. I am on the BA Anthropology degree at Goldsmiths, and I'm in my final year. Mahogany is where I carried out my fieldwork for my 3rd year dissertation final project. Mahogany Carnival Arts is a group of multidisciplinary artists that create carnival costumes and also seek to educate others about carnival arts. I carried out participant observation by becoming a costume technician here. So I mostly worked in the sewing room. Occasionally I worked in kind of foam sculpture as well, but most of the time I was kind of sewing cakes like these. Working as a costume technician, that was my way of learning about the skills and the materiality of the group and kind of their history as well. I am curating an exhibition of five displays of costumes, along with some large-scale prints of photographs, which I took last summer during my fieldwork, and they're going to be displayed at the Brent Museum in Willesden. Whilst I was musing on how to kind of document my fieldwork, whilst I would kind of write a diary every day, I also wanted a lot of visual kind of research, because the nature of costumes is that it is so visual. So when I was kind of working out how I could negotiate taking photographs, I took lots of photographs and immediately got them printed, and the next day I came and gifted them to the people here, so they would have pictures of their grandchildren or pictures of themselves performing, and they all enjoyed the pictures so much that when it came to the carnival weekend they would actively kind of seek me out and ask me to take photographs, and I did the same thing again. I brought them back so that they could share the photographs. It wasn't just for me.
My name's Audrey Allwood, and I'm doing some research called Episode to Episodes, Afro-Caribbean Life Stories from the 1920s to 2012. That's based on continuing work out of my PhD thesis, which was on the elderly Afro-Caribbean community, looking at the idea of belonging. The central focus of the PhD was to look at the notion of belonging, the notion of transition from the Caribbean to England and living in England over a period of time. So it was looking at elderly people who'd been here some time, 50 years, and were now settling as elderly people, looking at how they negotiated that experience of some of the tensions of still wanting to go back home, trying to go back home, yet living in London at the same time. How do they balance and have a sense of belonging?
We're very keen on our students learning beyond the classroom, not being fixed in what they understand, but actually learning through interacting with the city in various ways. And I think that's one of the great distinctive features of Goldsmiths as a department, is that engagement with London. The trips we take to museums outside, the London course which takes them into different corners of the city. And so that sense that London is our university in some ways, as well as Goldsmiths being the hub through which we will engage with that wider London.